Area Man.
I love that song.
Hey, man. Your
Played that.
rendition of it, I don't think anyone has a better rendition of it than you.
I had some help. What's going on, Quake?
Not much, man. How you doing? How's the quarantine been going?
It's okay. We're getting by like everybody else. It's I got 3 kids. They're a little older now, so it's not like they're toddlers running around, so it's a little easier. But like anyone else, I'm starting, probably same as you, trying to stay creative, think of stuff, keep working. So when this all ends, we're ready to go.
I'm super jealous of the indoor driving range you guys got, man. You spent
That was
much
the
time
first
on
thing I got. First thing I got when I finished and started having a bit of work. I wanted my kids to golf so much because I think it's such a great sport. And I love it, and I grew up playing it. So it's really been helpful in this quarantine, I'll tell you.
Speaking of golf, man, you're having a little fun with your father there, betting him on some golf Masters reruns.
Yeah.
Is that for real? Like, does he not know what's going on? Like,
No, he caught on quickly. It worked for one night, and then he caught on. But it was a fun joke. Yeah, it was. I got him, I think, the first night, and then halfway he calls me. He goes, "Hey," he's Scottish. He's like, "This game was last year. What the hell's going on here?"
that's incredible, man. Like I said, this is gonna be super relaxed. A lot of people in the aspiring people in the entertainment business watch, they tune in. They've been getting a lot out of it, and myself included, just learning from people's stories who have done it before. But I just want to start at the beginning, man. Like, do you remember the first time you saw a stand-up comedian, like who it was, or if it was on TV, or like what inspired you right off the bat? Or
well, my and I'm a big fan of yours too, by the way. Let's get that out of the way. But I wasn't really someone that kind of like, imagine if someone said to you, like, who was your favorite rapper, or who'd you grow up? And you said, I didn't really have one. Well, that's kind of weird, right? But for me, I wasn't following comedians. I was following comedic actors, like John Candy, Mike Myers, Michael J. Fox. I loved John Ritter. I loved. I loved Eddie Murphy, and Delirious to me was really the only stand-up special I would have known prior to getting into stand-up. Like I didn't follow everybody, so it was more the actors in sitcoms that I was really, studying and watching.
okay, I hear you. So like, when you first started writing, like writing your first, like let's say set, how long, like before, like when you started writing your first set to actually when you went on stage in front of anybody, like?
Well, it's an interesting story because 1992, probably before you were born.
No, 88.
You were born in 88, so you were 4. I was in Nova Scotia. I was working. I went to St. FX. I was about to go to my first year university at St. FX for my second degree for teaching, and I got a job with Molson's. So it was my second year. So anyway, long story short, I had always thought of trying stand-up. So that was 92. So I drove into Canadian Tire on my way to Yarmouth. I bought a dictaphone at the time. That's what it was. There was no iPhone. It's like a little tape recorder. You talked into it.
Okay.
And I had written down all these jokes. I don't know why, but I guess I always thought of trying stand-up. So that was 92. I finally had the guts to go up in 99. So 7 years of talking about it and never doing it.
Wow. And that's a lot of people, they ask me advice and they don't realize like how long it actually takes to hone your craft. Then by the time you finally get up there, it's probably another 10, 12 years before anything really happens with it.
Yeah. And I started at 30. So knowing that was harder for me because I was just trying to read that comment. I didn't have the time that you might start at 19 or 20 or 17 or 20. I was 30. I was a full-time teacher. So it was all kind of strange for me the way I did it. So my route was very different, but I had something to talk about it, and I talked about teaching. So I just stuck to that when I started, and it obviously worked out.
So I noticed you did like a lot of the competition shows. Were they like instrumental in kind of breaking you out, like the Star Search with Arsenio Hall and like the
Yeah.
Last Comic Standings? And
Yeah.
I saw you post about the Star Search. You're like, I thought my life was about
Yeah.
to change
Well,
at this moment.
it's so funny I'm talking to you, but I got a real funny story. So I'm watching Star Search in my living room at the time, and I lived, I was teaching, and I'm saying to myself, I got to get on that show. So I started the wheels in motion. I had no agents that got you on it. People think someone gets you on it. I picked up I went to my computer. I searched Star Search, sent a tape. I remember I was walking around school. I was on my spare, and I got a call at my home message because you didn't have a cell phone then. And I went to the payphone at school. I checked my messages, and it was Star Search saying, we want to book you. So I literally thought my life was about to change. First of all, I thought it was going to change by getting on. Then I thought it was going to change if I won it. And, Tracy McDonald, a good Halifax girl, she won it. She won it, and then she won the Grand Champion. And she's still doing well. I think she's in L.A. But I thought if I win this, everything's going to happen. And I was on the plane. I was at my trailer listening to Eminem. You only get one shot. Like that. It's so cheesy. It's so cheesy, but that you only get one shot, man. Not miss your chance to blow because opportunity comes. And I was like, that was what pumped me up. And I'm sitting outside my trailer like Star Search was my one shot. And I told my writers on Mr. D that story. They thought it was hilarious because it was like, you only get one. And I wasn't kidding. I was like, this is it, man. Eminem. Eminem is talking to me right now. Listen to Eminem. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. And I lost in 30 seconds.
No, wait, man, that's so funny you said that because I went to nationals for baseball. I think it was midget. I went to nationals and it was in Windsor, the baseball nationals. And the bridge, like to Detroit, is right there. So you can kind of see the bridge that's in that video from the Lose Yourself video. So I was playing it too, like looking at that bridge. I was like, man, we're about to kill it. Like, and I felt, looking back, I felt like such a loser now. And we came, I think, 10th out of 12 in the nationals. But yeah, so
that's longer than that. You lasted more than 30 seconds. I was back on a plane, and I wasn't listening to Eminem on the way back. I'm like, screw you, Eminem. Your song did nothing.
That's hilarious, man. And then the Last Comic Standing, like I looked up I don't remember seeing it when it was on, but I just looked some of it up, and like there was some big names. Like you made it further than Amy Schumer, for example. I think Lavelle Crawford was on there, Doug Benson.
Yeah.
Like, that was a little more succcessful than the original Star Search? Or?
Yeah, so Last Comic I went season 2. I got, I don't know, I got to the final 40, which you would have seen nothing, I think. And then I got to the final 20 in season 4. They didn't have, season 3, they did a best of or something. Then season 5 is when I came third. But I was just trying to get to the top 5. Obviously Amy Schumer's done remarkably well, and she's in a different stratosphere from everyone else. But Lavelle's done well. John Reap and Lavelle, I still kind of keep in touch with a little bit. It was the life-changing moment for sure. Because once I came back, that show had a lot of money, a lot of viewers watching it in America, and it kind of put me on the map. And I mean, it's the same for you. Sadly, people don't take us seriously in Canada until something happens in the U.S. Same in your industry. It's
exactly.
It's harder to crack. But if you're in L.A. right now, you're a massive star. But we got to start here, and you're in the same boat. But they're not always better. It's just the way it works.
So do you think it's key for somebody coming up in any industry to like get out of here and go to these places and seek these opportunities? Or like, do you think it would have turned out the same for you if you just kind of stayed in this country and just kept doing what you were doing?
Yeah. No. So what happened, after I went to LA in 2003 to try to make it, and I left teaching for good. And I was getting nowhere in LA. Like you feel like a loser because you don't know anyone. No one's calling you. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to go back to Canada and try to make it in Canada. And, that's what happened. And I don't know what making it is. I feel like, I'm really happy with what my career has done, and it's a long way to go. But I did just that. I just said, I got to go back home. I'm not enjoying this. It was horrible. I just felt like a loser. I did one late night talk show, and again, every time back to Eminem, put it on again. Maybe this is the Eminem song. Eminem didn't work for me, man. I stopped playing it, but it's funny now. I play it for my kids, and it's just, I still think it's just such a great song. It really does. No matter what you're doing, you could be cutting your grass, and Eminem, that song "Lose Yourself" comes on. You're like, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna cut this grass so good right now, because Eminem just pumps you right up, man. You only get one shot to cut your grass right now, Gerry. Cut it, Eminem. It's a great song. Great artist.
That's incredible, Gerry. Man, the first time I remember seeing you was Gerry Dee sports reporter. Like as a kid, like I love that because I'd never seen anybody on these networks interview people like that before, or anyone for that matter. Like, is there a place where that character comes from? Like, all right, I'm just gonna throw these people all off and be this character, and like, where does that come from, man?
It just I always thought the interviews were kind of similar, right? Like, what do you got to do to come back, and how do you guys feel you played? And I just wanted to get them. I wanted to take them in a different direction. So I don't know. It just kind of evolved. But yeah, the Score called me after Last Comic, and they said, "Have you got any ideas?" I said, "I always had this idea for this cocky, know-it-all sports reporter who doesn't get the good assignments and thinks he's a better athlete than everybody," and it just kind of went from there.
Oh, is he sick? Oh, there he is. Yeah, no, that's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Was anyone genuinely mad at you? Like, I saw there was like an MMA fighter, I think Robin Black, like he was pissed. I heard Chris Chelios, Hall of Fame hockey player, like called you an idiot. Like,
yeah, Chelios was legit. Robin Black, I wasn't sure at first, and then I realized he was kind of in on it, which was great. And we kept in touch, and he was great. He was great about it. But if you watch that interview, you really think it's real, like that I want to fight him. But he would have killed me, man. Like, it's so funny that people think that was real. He would have just killed me. And it was fun because people didn't get it.
Do you have like a top one? Like Charles Barkley is probably my
that was the best. One. Yeah, that was the best one. I mean, Peyton Manning was good.
Where I can't find that. I saw you have Peyton Manning and Jordan, and I are they anywhere? Like, are they ever going to be available?
I gotta post more. I'm the only one that has them now, and I was slowly putting some out last week during this, and I'll get around to it. Peyton Manning was great. Roy Halladay, rest his soul, he was great.
Yeah, that was incredible.
I remember when I met Roy, everyone said, no, don't go to Roy. Roy's a pretty focused dude, man. He's not into this stuff. And it turned out he was a fan, and when he saw me, he was excited to do it. And that would be one of my most memorable because like you obviously are, I'm a huge Jays fan, and it was a massive Roy Halladay fan, and the way he conducted himself in so many ways, I always admired. So to have that interview is real special for me. But Barkley was good. Obviously, Gretzky was a lot of fun. There's so many, it's hard to pick.
It always made me mad as a kid what Barkley was like, what do you know about basketball? You're from Canada. It's like Dr. James Naismith invented basketball, and he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. It's so true. And we know that, but they don't always give us that credit, right?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? I'm seeing your highs as you go by, but I'm not I see all the highs. I'm saying hi back. Hello. But yeah, it's look, I'm blessed, man. It's my family's first for me, and I'm very lucky that I have the family I have, and great wife, 3 great kids, and then I got a career that's going well. So I got nothing to complain about.
I hear you, man. Happiness, I think I've learned is, we always chase so many things. I think at the end of the day, like, happiness is the true making it. Like, if you're truly happy, like, I don't know, that's making it to me, for sure. I want to get into the show, man. Mr. D. So like, how does that come about when it's like you have an idea for a show? Like, did you know how to write a script? Did you have to like, what is the process in that for somebody out there who maybe wants to like start a show? Like, I have no idea where you would start. Like,
so first, let me tell everybody that I don't do coke. I have allergies right now because you might see me do that. My allergies are really bad, but I only say that because a guy asked me for coke once after a show because he thought I did coke because I was a comedian. I said, no, man, I just have allergies. Nathan McKinnon was awesome. It's a long process. Look, I was really lucky to get a sitcom. I teamed up with Mike Volpe there in Halifax, who produced Trailer Park Boys. I met him on Trailer Park Boys when I had a cameo not a cameo.
They want you to speak about that so much. That's all everyone's been asking. Donnie, the prison guard. They want to know. Yeah.
What a treat. What an honor that was. But so I met Mike and we just thought of this show and then you surround yourself with great writers. It took us a while to get the writing room in a place we wanted in. And once we did, we were off and running and they were a big part of it. And, you came to set, you got to see it and just a great group. Loved being in Halifax. Those were 10 of the best summers of my life out there with my family filming that show. So, my wife's from Cape Breton, as a lot of people know. My oldest daughter was born in Cape Breton and we lived out there. Her family's all in Dartmouth now. It's a real connection to me.
Cape Breton, man, I usually come on here in the night times and have drinking contests. So I'll bring people in like I bring you in. And always the people from Glace Bay are always the craziest, man. They always win every time. So
that's my wife's town. Shout
out to
you. Got to get Bette McDonald. Get Bette McDonald on. Bette is lovely. She's from Cape Breton. She's a huge star. She's a Canadian treasure. She played Trudy on our show, and I just love her, and she's a good caper. Our dog's name's Caper.
No way.
Our dog's name's Caper, and my son's name's Breton, so it's a bit much, but my wife gets all that because she moved here.
That's incredible. Man, I had Maestro Fresh West, who was on your show. He was on one of the first episodes. I wanted to ask you something. Who is John
There he is. Maestro, what's up?
Oh, he's in here? There he is. What's up, King?
The best. He's the best.
Who is John Machoki in relation to the show?
So when Maestro interviewed, I'm like, geez, is that Maestro? And Maestro, we grew up. He's a legend in hip hop, and for me, that's kind of who we grew up listening to. And Let Your Backbone Slide was, everybody my age would have grown up going nuts when that song came on. So when I saw him audition, I said, oh, that's it, man. And he can act really well. So, we in the audition, I said, I had this friend. Anyway, he knew the teacher I was talking about that was just a friend of mine that was just loved by all the students. So he knew the guy, and he's totally got what I meant. And, he did such a great job on Mr. D and was just a joy to work with. And it was his birthday the other day. I sent him a text, but he's just such a great guy and so talented. At the rap party, we'd always get him to do Backbone Slide. And he brought the house down. And Maestro, Maestro's a huge star in this country and other countries, but he didn't come into our show with any attitude, any ego. He came in so humble, and he was bigger than everybody, and he just was a joy to work with. So thank you, Maestro. Miss you too. That's
incredible.
Brother.
I always thought that was crazy. Like, you based this teacher off somebody who you had in mind, and he based his audition off the same person. Like, the coincidence on that is crazy. Like,
he went to the high school with the guy. It was crazy, but I was so happy that he could do the show. And again, for me, it's great if you can act, but it's more important you're a good person to work with. That's not always the case, right? That's not always the case. And he was everything. He was just a joy to work with, and the energy he brought to set every day. And I don't know. I'm glad he's listening to this because you don't always get to tell people, but we really appreciated everything he did. Like a lot of the cast, it's a tremendous group.
No, that's incredible. I think that's actually like a great lesson for anybody. Like, I've interviewed a bunch of great people, including you two and some more, and everybody's advice was always just like, be genuine, be humble. Like, that's the key to longevity. And I think that's just a great message for people that are aspiring to come up, especially young people now.
I think you're right about longevity because, you know, I've worked with people that, or heard of stories that were, you know, they were jerks, and people kind of take it the first time around, but when your name comes up the second time around, people just go, no thanks. And you may never know.
Yep.
You may never know, but I know a lot of people that no one will touch out there, and they have no idea. But you don't get to throw temper tantrums all the time, man. No one wants to work with someone that throws temper tantrums, you know, and screams and yells at people. Just who does that? We wouldn't tolerate it. We had a problem. We get rid of someone. You know, it was done. It was like no one wanted that energy on set.
No, I hear you, man. No, that's great advice, man. Everybody just be cool, easy to work with. It goes a long way. Like at the end of the day,
you're right.
Yeah, Gerry, I got to get into the Family Feud, man. How have you been liking it? Like, is it an adjustment period? Are you getting better and better every episode, or what's going on? Like,
yeah, I feel that, you know, I feel that I got better because I don't know if it was a lot. There was a lot of room to get better because I would watch myself at first and I was like, why am I yelling? Why am I this? Why am I that? And, you know, I had people make comments like, you're yelling. And I listened to them because they were right. But once I found my groove, you know, the families make that show. I'm just kind of moving everything along, and they're so excited and to be there, and just win or lose, they're great sports. And I fed off that energy, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things I've ever done. So, you know, I think we're going to come back and do it again in the fall, but you know, hopefully, who knows right now what's going on, but that's the thought. But I didn't imagine I'd have as much fun as I'm having because it's a blast.
That's incredible, man. I definitely had a lot of fun watching the girl. It went viral now.
Yeah,
but and she's on the commercial, and it's like, what's Popeye's favorite food? And she dances all cocky, chicken. And then it's obviously spinach. And then I just saw today that Popeyes gave her a $10,000 gift certificate in chicken or something like that. Like, what was the story behind that? Was it just how we saw it, or like, was there a lead up to that, or?
Well, I posted the lead up right after that, and there was a lead up. It took them. The two people had a tough time getting that final answer, so we had to keep changing the question. And the answers before chicken were pretty good too, but she was a great sport. You know, it actually is an innocent mistake because that generation, they wouldn't know Popeye, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I grew up with it. I don't even know if you would know who Popeye was.
I'm on the edge of Popeye.
Yeah.
I might have said chicken too.
Exactly. So I really, honestly, I don't judge anyone that says chicken because anyone at a certain age and down, it's all they'd say. You know, it's like you bringing up a 1930s cartoon character to me. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And for her, it's probably a similar thing, right?
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I think the funny part of it was just like the confidence she said it with. Like,
that was what it was.
She was so sure of it.
That's what made it.
Yeah.
Is the confidence is what made it.
No, 100%. Gerry, like you said, you mentioned Eminem earlier. I got one more question. I don't want to keep you too long.
That's okay, man.
I know you're busy. Were you surprised to see that 50 Cent was a fan of you? Did you catch wind of that? That there was like a day, maybe 2 years ago, where 50 went on a string on his Instagram just posting Mr. D clips. Were you aware of that?
Well, I saw, you know, Darren Rose is great on the show, and he would always the first text I got was from Darren Rose. We had a clip, which a lot of people will know, the lesbian clip. And Darren Rose said, "You're on Worldwide Hip Hop."
World Star Hip Hop.
World Star Hip Hop.
World Star. That's like the viral site. If you're on there, it's everywhere.
Yeah. So of course I don't know what he's talking about. I'm like, what is that? And he says that's huge. So from there it started going, and then the next one, I think it was Darren again, said 50 Cent just posted a clip. And that was when I was like, wow, that's really cool. And, you know, it's a shame we can't get the show on in the States because I know it would do well. But when 50 Cent posted that was a wow moment for me and a lot of us, I think, because, you know, worldwide hip hop. There it is. So there's a lot of people in that community that that would be on Worldwide Hip Hop or 50 Cent fans that got to know the show through those two posts they did.
No, that's incredible. They're trolling you, Gerry. It's World Star, but they're trolling.
Oh, that was them?
No. Oh, in the comments they're saying Worldwide, but they're just joking with you. It's World Star.
Oh, what did I call Worldwide Hip Hop?
Yeah. Amazing. I love it, man.
I'm not on that site, as you can tell.
That's incredible, man.
Actually, I am on that site.
You are on that site, man.
Clip.
You're on that site before me, and I'm an actual rapper, man.
Worldwide Hip Hop. Check me out. Worldwide Hip Hop. 49 cents.
49 cents. That's incredible, Gerry. So I heard you were working on some shows after that. My Scottish Family. Is all that on the back burner now that the family feud
is? There's my cousin from Scotland, Martin, right there. My Scottish Family was a show I was really excited about. Never went anywhere. Man, most of my shows don't go anywhere. So luckily one did. I'm always trying to get a new show off the ground. I've struck out way more than I've had success, and that's common, part of the business.
It's funny how you say you struck out. I've seen Jerry Seinfeld compare comedy to a batting average. So he's like, out of every 10 things you think of, maybe 3 will be like a decent average is like 3 out of 10, or like jokes that he thought of. Can you agree with that, or is that accurate? Or
yeah, I don't. 30% is high, man. That's maybe for Seinfeld. Gerry Dee, it's not 30%. But look, I mean, I got a show on television. You know, we did. Like, it wasn't just me, obviously, but I got no complaints. That's so rare and so hard to do in any country. If I get another one, that's awesome. I'll be tickled pink. But right now, I feel like I have one with Family Feud, and I hope that goes for many, many years. It's just a lot of fun. I think it's great for Canada. We're seeing folks from across the country. They just are they're really great. That's right, Maestro. Because Maestro Fresh West is on here. Maestro Fresh West is on right now. You guys are talking to me. You should be talking to him. Oh, you already had him on.
We had him on, Gerry. His was incredible, man. So many stories, like incredible.
Oh, I wish I got to see you, Maestro. We got to hook up when this is done. I haven't seen him since it ended. So he's got a great little boy who plays football. He's amazing. You watch out for him.
Yes, sir. Speaking of sports, Gerry, before you go, man, I'm a left-handed golfer, man, and every time I swing too hard, it goes left. But if I swing a little lighter, it's kind of straight. And I don't know what I'm doing, if it's like a grip. I played as a kid, like, you know what I mean, and then I gave it up, but now I'm back. Is there something you could recommend, like?
Well, baseball's I find baseball is tough on your golf swing, man. I find it's a different plane you're swinging on. But I don't know. But if what I would say is you play the slice. I would say just if you hit it straight, not hitting it hard, just keep hitting it softer and then slowly build up. Yeah. That's kind of what I would do with my game. If it was falling apart, I'd go back to slow, and then I would slowly speed up. But yeah, that's another chat. I don't know what it could be, a bunch of things, and I'm quasi good at teaching it myself. I can't teach my daughter anymore. She's getting better than me. So, but I would say, but golf's a great game, and hopefully comes back. You know, it's one of the sports that might come back sooner, which I hope. But right now, it's great that everyone's staying home, and I think that's what we need to do. So I miss golf, but this is more important.
For sure. When you try to play,
Maestro.
When you try to play the hook and then you aim right, it goes straight. Like it'll go into the woods straight. So then I'm like, yeah, it's confusing, man. I might have to get some lessons this year.
It's a game, man. It's a hard game. My daughter hits 100 to 200 balls a day. Like she's 12. Like it's a hard game to learn.
No doubt, man. Well, shit, Gerry, man, we won't keep you too long, man. We know you're busy. You got your family. You probably got volleyball practice and golf lessons to do and a bunch of other things tonight.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, buddy.
Yes, man.
Great
Thank you
to
so
chat with
much.
you.
Hey,
Later, Maestro.
I
Thanks,
really
Quake. Stay
appreciate you,
safe, brother.
Jerry. Thank you,
Anytime.
man.
See you, pal. Thanks,
Take care,
everyone.
pal.
Bye.
All right.